Here's everybody's favourite, Hildoceras. I think I could speak for most people when I say Hildoceras is probably one of everybody's favourite ammonites to find. I remember when I first started collecting, that was the first thing that was on my list. Dactylioceras was on the list, obviously, because it's the most common ammonite, but Hildoceras, it's an amazing ammonite. Legend has it that the founding abbess of Whitby Abbey, St Hilda, found a plague of snakes and turned that plague of snakes into stone. Which of course, aptly, the name of the ammonite is named Hildoceras after St Hilda. And then she cast the snakes over the edge of the cliff, giving you the Hildoceras that we find today. Now Hildoceras are fairly common ammonite, you can pick them up on a regular basis. I pick them up all the time. But in some instances, they can be rarities depending. I'll show you soon why that is. Usually it's because of the size of them or what they are associated with other ammonites. Because usually they're quite a lonesome ammonite, if you want to call it that. So, let's take a look at some examples. This right here is actually the first Hildoceras that I ever found. Unfortunately there is a tiny little bit of wear there, but I can still remember to this day being absolutely ecstatic that I found this. It's at about 5 inches, which is a fairly modest size for it. They can obviously get bigger, but you know, it could do with a reprep. But that for a first Hildoceras isn't bad at all. I'll never forget finding that at Saltwick Bay. This specific Hildoceras here is known as Hildoceras bifrons. Bifrons is the most common one that you can find on the beach. Surprisingly, I don't actually have any in my collection of these species that's known as Lusitanicum, so here's another Hildoceras bifrons. This is one of my favourite preps that I've actually ever done. Really, really nice piece, nice mouth border. It's just a really lovely specimen. Next up is this one. This one is actually known as Hildoceras semipillatum. Now, as far as I'm aware, I believe that there's only one, possibly two other locations that you can find these. It's a interesting specimen. They're not as strongly ribbed as the other ones. This is in need of a reprep also, as I found this quite a long time ago and prepped it a long time ago also. But they're a really interesting ammonite, the Hildoceras. And again, one that I haven't got in my collection currently, although I do have one, it's just not been prepped yet, is Hildites malleri. Although that actually isn't the same as Hildoceras if I'm certain about that, which I think I am. But yeah, really nice piece. That'll get a reprep very soon, might even do that today. Now this right here is one of my better ones. Again, Hildoceras bifrons. Could be, actually might be a Lusitanicum actually, this one, I'm not sure. But this one's quite a hefty boy, or hefty girl, since it's a microconch, which is the name for the females. This is what I was talking about earlier on when it comes to being rarity. The larger specimens are actually quite hard to come by. But again, really wonderful mouth border. Not a brilliant middle, but with that size, you can't really complain. Truly a fantastic specimen. And you see right here, there's a little hitchhiker. Tiny little Jurassic bivalve. Look at that beauty. So, as I was saying earlier on, there is rarities when it comes to that. Obviously, I've just shown you the size. Then there's associations. Now, finding Hildoceras associated with anything else, even itself, is really rare. Finding them with other Hildoceras are rare. Dactylioceras rare. Anything. It's just that rare. And over the years, I've actually been really lucky. I've found 2 specimens that are separate and associated that have been prepped. And I also have 2 others that haven't actually prepped yet that are actually in my box. One is a triple Hildoceras, which is incredibly rare. So let's show you 2 of the examples right now. So right here is actually the first ever example that I found. It was at Port Mulgrave. And you can see, as I was prepping this side, it just wasn't complete here. So I decided to prep the other side, and this is what you get. Perfect. Well, not perfect, but almost perfect. Double Hildoceras bifrons. Absolutely cracking, that. Obviously there's a section missing here, which is a shame because it broke when I split it, but to find these in association with each other is really, really rare. Even the most hardened collectors might never actually find one of these. I was very, very lucky. Preservation isn't fantastic, it was incredibly pyritic to prep, but when it comes to something like this, you just got to take what you can get. I mean, the suture patterns on it here are fantastic. Beautiful. Can't beat it. Now here, we actually have a more recent find. I actually need to re-prep this again as I didn't do the mouth border, which I really should have done. But again, another bifrons. But the interesting one about this was I could see the keel of the ammonite showing on this part, which said to me that there was a good Hildoceras in there. But on the rear side of the nodule here, I could see the faint ribbon of a dac. Now, I wasn't certain whether it was going to be there, but it was always worthwhile the prep. So let's have a look. And lo and behold, there she is. Dactylioceras commune. Unfortunately quite squashed in areas, but when it comes to finding doubles, as like I said, it's really rare. I'd even consider finding one with a dac rarer than finding another one with a Hildoceras, in my opinion. Really amazing. And as you can tell, I was pretty damn excited when I found that, because that's a new one to add to the collection. So you've all probably been wondering what's behind me. Like in the last video, I got a reveal. I actually finished prepping this up last week. It's one of my best Hildoceras that I've ever had, and the largest I've ever had. It's incredible. I actually found it around 2 years ago. Couldn't believe it when I split the nodule open. I'll actually put that video in here now. So, just found this really big flipping dinner plate size nodule. Never usually have any luck with these, but I'll give it a tap. It looks like it's broken in a few sections, so if there's something in it, it's probably going to be naff, but moment of truth. If I can get it out. Oh, that looks like a Hildy. You ready? Oh my god. Oh, that's big. That's really big. So as you could see, there was some potential. It needed gluing back, because unfortunately when the cap came off, it pulled half of the shell off, revealing a layer of calcite. So that would mean that I had to glue it back up, and then I had to prep over the top of it, which was very, very difficult, but it did come out a dream. So let's have a look, shall we? Right, I'll see how long I can hold this up for. I found this a long time ago, like I said. This whopper measures 7 inches. It isn't the best preservation ever, but like I always say, when you get something this big, that rare, you just can't flipping say no to that. What a specimen. Look at it, it's huge. I'm actually struggling to hold it. So yeah, it's pretty damn big ammonite. So if you didn't know already, just ammonites in general in Whitby don't really tend to get that big. So to find something like that is an absolute dream. Hope you enjoyed. Laters.